Now, social activists are urging G7 nations to focus on the urgent but underreported food insecurity crisis in the world. One.org movement is warning that the situation is especially dire in parts of Africa. The organization has been tracking the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic, the Ukrainian conflict, as well on food affordability. A recently published World Economic Forum poll shows that globally, nearly a quarter of people are in financial straits due to the rising price of food and fuel. In fact, in April this year, more than 800 million people didn't have enough food. 38% of them, we're told, are in Africa.
Imali yami engiyitholayo ngikuthenga amafutha 1 kg, ngithenge impuphu 25, ngithenga rice 25, enye bese ngiyithatha ngiyokhokhela umasingcwabisane, enye ngikhokhela school fees sesikolo, enye ngiyithengela into ezokugqoka.
Kulethe ngithola sister engihamba kulona insuku lamasente ngathola imali engiyithola khona ibo 100 rand. Lo 100 rand ngithephula ngithenge ukudla, ngithenge into zokugcoba. Ipheleke mayiphela ngiphinde mengibiza lo mlungu ngikwazi ukuthi ngithola lo cent ngibone okunye okushodayo njengento zokugqoka.
Local fuel and cooking oil prices have jumped up by at least 52% since last year. This has led to huge increases in the prices of basic household goods, leaving people like Thabo Ngongo and Margaret Maduna struggling to feed their families. Their shrinking earnings worsen the situation.
Namafutha 5 kg, 5 litre. Ngangalithenga into ezimali encane. Ngangithenga into ezinkulu.
Social activists say if the G7 and other global leaders do not tackle hunger and food insecurity head on, the consequences could be disastrous.
At the One campaign, we are very concerned that soaring food prices, rising inflation, and disruptions to the global food supply chain, due in large part to Russia's invasion of Ukraine, will push people further into poverty and hunger. Already, 1 in 10 people globally is undernourished, and that's only getting worse, which will choke the middle class, increase stunting among children, and reverse the gains made before the COVID-19 pandemic.
And the levels of inequality will just explode further than what we currently have, because those who are able to afford food, and nutritious and healthy food, their children will progress, while those who do not have access to sufficient and nutritious food, their children will be left behind.
This is what 48-year-old Sibongile Mbambo fears could happen to the 9 children she cares for. They survive on social grants amounting to 2,500 rands paid to her twin sons, one of whom is disabled. This is used to feed and clothe all 10 of them.
Ngihleli nengane zami eziwu3, intombazane ina 18 nabafana abawu2 abamawele bana 10. Bese bakhona ingane zaseswami eziwu5. Umfana intombazane ina 17, umfana una 16, bese kuba khona intombazane no10, no8, no6, right. Ingane zami ke umfana wami lo munye unokukhubazeka uyena oholayo bese kuba naniwele lakhe ke nalo liyaholo baba u2, right. Laba abanye ke abawu5 abaholi ngenxa ukuthi ke banenkinga etifiketi abanazo.
The money does not cover the family's monthly food costs, so the children often go to school hungry. She stopped buying meat to save money.
Inyama sayidlela ekhaya ke into esengike ngibathengele yona ngithenge ibhakede levosi lelu 4 kg eyenkukhu ayisesayeka namafutha futhi sisawasebenzisa masipheka yiloko nje because angisakhoni ukwathenga amafutha.
On this day, a Good Samaritan has given Mbambo a 2,500 shopping voucher, allowing her to buy basics that have become luxuries. First on her list is cooking oil and beans. Despite the windfall, she avoids the meat aisle.
Imali engidingayo ke mina ngidinga imali ngo-3,000 mangasho ngithi nje kusukela maqala inyanga kuze kuyophela inyanga imali engayidinga u-3,000 rand ukuthi ngithenge ngayo ukudla okuzosinela inyanga yonke 3,000. Kufanele ngipheke ekuseni nantambama anginayo imali yesinkwa. bakwazi ukuphekisela ntambama bebuya esikoleni bakwazi ukudla njengoba ngisho ukuthi uma beya esikoleni bahamba bengadlanga so kufanele ngenze sure ukuthi uma bebuya esikoleni bayadla.
The COVID-19 pandemic increased food insecurity by 25% in 2020. Last year alone, nearly 40 million people faced a food emergency or starvation. Social activists warn that if global leaders don't act, social instability is almost certain.
There's a global principle, not only in South Africa but globally, that there is a direct connection between household food security and social stability. And when household food insecurity increases, it increases the risk of social instability.
The fight against hunger and food insecurity is a global emergency, and the message to the G7 from the Global South is, act now.